At age 62, Johnny Depp finally says what no one thought was possible. For 40 years, Johnny Depp kept a secret. It wasn't about pirates or Scissorhands. It was about the night he quit school at age 15 to sleep in a van with a garage band and live in Hunter S. Thompson's basement, next to kegs of gunpowder. About texts that were so violent they shocked the judges. In October 2024, he opened an art show that showed something that no one in Hollywood expected. The paintings proved that he was right about something that everyone else got wrong and showed why Disney thought he was drunk on set. Johnny Depp didn't start out in the public eye. He was born in Owensboro, Kentucky, on June 9, 1963. Betty Sue Palmer, his mother, worked long hours as a waiter, and John Christopher Depp, his father, was a civil engineer. Things were not safe at home. In the 7 years that Johnny lived with his family, they had moved more than 20 times. They finally settled down in Miramar, Florida. His life was a mess. His parents fought all the time, and there was a lot of mental stress in the house. They split up when he was 15, leaving him with deep wounds. Later, Depp said that his mother was the meanest person he had ever met. But a spark began to grow amidst all the chaos. Johnny found a strange sense of who he was in Florida, where it was hot and chaotic, with rock music playing in the background. He did something that most teens wouldn't even think about when they are 15. He quit high school. He didn't leave to work or play. He wished to make songs. He joined a band called The Kids. They were angry, loud, and hungry. The band made a name for itself in Florida's underground scene and opened for big names like Iggy Pop, but it was hard to stay alive. They ate cheap food together and slept in their van. They were just getting by, but Depp didn't seem to mind. He wasn't looking for ease of life. He was after sound. He didn't know it at the time, but his love of music would soon take him somewhere he didn't expect. Depp married makeup artist Lori Ann Allison when he was only 20 years old in 1983. She had 6 more years on her, and full of hope for him. They both went to Los Angeles to try to make it in the music business. It was the most depressing job Depp had when he had to sell ballpoint pens over the phone. He called people every day to try to sell something he wasn't interested in. He was upset, broke, and didn't know if the dream was even worth pursuing. Lori had faith in him though. She had friends in show business, and one of them was about to make Johnny's life different. Always, Nicolas Cage was that guy. He thought Johnny was interesting. A mysterious air, a charm, and a presence. He was told by Cage to try performing. Still, Depp went to a meeting with an agent even though he wasn't sure. It was then time to try out for A Nightmare on Elm Street. Depp wasn't even there by himself. He went with a friend, but the daughter of director Wes Craven saw him. She believed he looked wonderful. That was enough. Depp was cast as Glenn Lance, a kid who dies horribly when a bed swallows him up. It came out on November 9, 1984, and made more than $25 million, even though it only cost $1.8 million to make. That one bloody scene made him famous and brought him out of the dark. Then 1985 came along. Again, everything changed. His band The Kids broke up for good. His marriage also ended. Music. The reason he quit school was over. There was no plan B for him. The strange new world of acting was just starting to open up to him. The choice was very harsh. Follow the songs that didn't lead anywhere or jump into the unknown world of film. Pick to act at time, it looked like a failure. But it would soon be the start of something huge. In 1987, 2 years later, he became a well-known figure. He got the part of Officer Tom Hansen in 21 Jump Street, taking over for Jeff Yeager. When he was only 24, Johnny Depp was all of a sudden on the wall of every American teen's bedroom. The show wasn't just well-liked, it was an event in culture. It dealt with tough topics like drugs and violence, and Depp became a teen hero around the world because of it. But Johnny didn't like it. He thought he was being put in a box and sold. He thought his character was dull and easy to guess. Fame was too much. He began to fight with producers. Caused damage to his trailer to try to get fired. But he didn't want to be loved by everyone, so he disobeyed in the strangest way. People were confused by the parts he picked. In 1990, he played the lead role in John Waters' funny but crazy satire Cry Baby. Depp took the part because it made fun of teen heroes, not because it did. Waters said he chose Depp because he saw his picture on every teen magazine in a shopping store. Johnny used Cry Baby to get rid of the picture of a star he didn't want. It didn't do well at first. It only made $8.3 million, even though it cost up to $12 million to make. However, it turned into a cult favorite over time. It sent a clear message, which was more important. Johnny Depp wasn't going to follow the rules in Hollywood. Later that same year, he did something that changed the course of his career. With Tim Burton, he worked on the movie Edward Scissorhands. There was a lot of silence and sadness in the part. Depp played a machine man who was lonely and wanted to be loved. He had scissors for hands. It was nothing like the parts he had played before. People in the crowd and critics alike thought the show was great. The movie made 4 times the $20 million it cost to make, which proved what Johnny had been saying. He was more than just a pretty face. He was an artist. After that, he avoided anything that seemed safe or normal. He turned down big offers to write about people who were dark, misunderstood, or just plain weird. He said he would never go back to TV. No way, he told the reporters. I'd rather get gas. He was no longer after money or fame. He was looking for purpose. Even though he was building his business, his home life was just as busy. Soon after his split, he became very close to actress Sherilyn Fenn. They were together for more than 3 years after meeting on the set of a student movie. They were close enough to get engaged for a short time. She even showed up on 21 Jump Street. Jen Grey then came along. Depp asked her to marry him only 2 weeks after they met. They were engaged for 9 months before things fell apart. The attention, the stress, and the image he hated. This was all too much for him. But his next romance would go down in history. When the movie Great Balls of Fire came out in 1989, he met Winona Ryder. Their link was made right away. In just 5 months they got engaged. Johnny even gave Winona a permanent scar on his arm. In the early 1990s, the couple's bond made a name for Hollywood love. Even though it stopped in 1993, Depp's life was changed by it. Strong, intense, and full of real feelings. In 1994's Ed Wood, Johnny Depp didn't just play Edward D. Wood Jr., he became the character. Few movies have been voted as bad as Ed Wood's Plan 9 from Outer Space. In fact, it was called the worst movie ever made. Depp didn't make fun of him though. He loved him and showed off his crazy positivity and strange charm, as if it were something beautiful. Depp said that the act was inspired by both Trump and the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz. It may sound strange, but it worked. It felt like a love letter to all the weird, confused artists out there. The movie was shot in black and white. However, it was also the start of a bigger relationship between him and director Tim Burton, which became very famous over time. They found magic in the dark together. After 5 years, they worked together again on Sleepy Hollow. In this movie, Depp played Ichabod Crane, a smart but nervous detective who is trying to solve killings in a town that seems to be haunted. The company wanted someone like Brad Pitt at first, but Depp had a very different idea. It was important to him that Crane was soft, awkward, and even scared of bugs. Getting ideas from old-school characters like Sherlock Holmes and even Angela Lansbury, he even asked for a long fake nose. The studio turned down the crazy stuff, but the end result was still one of a kind. Crane wasn't a hero. He passed out and freaked out, but he used reasoning and science to solve cases. People really liked how the movie felt like a scary dream, with its thick fog, creepy woods, and Danny Elfman's music. It made more than $207 million and won an Oscar for art direction. Depp played Willy Wonka in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in 2005, which was one of the most talked about parts of his career. People remembered Wonka as being fun and lively, but this wasn't him. Depp's version was pale, stiff, and not very passionate. He said that kids' TV hosts gave him ideas, and the haircut was even based on Anna Wintour of Vogue. Some people thought he looked and behaved like Michael Jackson, but Depp said that wasn't true. His Wonka didn't even like kids. The movie changed things. Wonka's hard time with his strict doctor dad in the past. In every way it was darker, deeper, and more divisive. The critics were split. Some people thought it was great. Some people thought it was just creepy. The movie made almost $476 million around the world though, no matter what people thought. Depp was also nominated for a Golden Globe. Whether you liked it or not, no one forgot his Willy Wonka. In the same year, Depp took on another task. In Burton's stop-motion animation movie Corpse Bride, he did the role of Victor Van Dort. Depp was making movies during the day for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and singing for Corpse Bride at night. There was a lot of feeling in the part. He had to use Victor's voice to show how scared, kind, and grown he was. Victor went from the land of the living to the land of the dead in the story, which was based on an old folk tale. It was both sad and funny. The animation was also a big step forward. Digital cameras were used instead of film, which made the pictures clearer and faster to take. Corpse Bride was another hit for Depp and Burton, and it was even nominated for an Oscar. It also proved Depp didn't need to be seen to make people feel something. Not long after that, in 2010, Depp played the Mad Hatter again in Aurora. He and Burton had worked together so much by that point that it was easy for them to talk to each other. The Hatter played by Depp was sad, faithful, and a little crazy. Sometimes it's happy, and other times it's sad. With CGI outfits and real people, the movie looked and felt like a dream. It worked. It made more than $1 billion, which makes it Burton's biggest hit. They worked together again in 2012 for Dark Shadows, where Depp played Barnabas, a vampire who is 200 years old. It was cool, weird, and funny in a weird way. Some critics didn't like it, but it showed how far they had come as artists, from little strange tales to big crazy shows. But Depp's part in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas in 1998 was one of the scariest he's ever played. No, Depp didn't just read about Hunter S. Thompson to play him, he lived with him. When they met in 1994, things were crazy right away. He used a taser on Depp in a bar and then called him to his house, where they blew things up and shot guns. After that, Depp lived in Thompson's basement for 4 months. The space was small, spider-filled, and right next to a dynamite keg. Thompson dressed Depp, let him drive his car, and even shaved his head to match his bald spots. He kept track of him and recorded their talks for hours. It didn't even seem like Depp was acting in the movie when it came out. Smith was his name. Since they were so close, Depp carried out Thompson's dying wish by firing his ashes from a 153-foot gun while Mr. Tambourine Man by Bob Dylan played in the background. It was more than a movie. They were very close and loved each other very much. But Depp wasn't just good at playing weird, broken heroes. In the 1997 movie Donnie Brasco, he played an FBI agent who works underground and joins the mob. The story was true. It took Joseph Pistone 6 years to act like he was a gangster. Depp trained with Pistone to learn how dangerous that life was. He or his friends could die if they make one mistake. Depp learned how to move, talk, and think like a gangster. He also had to show how it made people feel. He starts to lose himself because he has to choose between being loyal to the FBI and his friendship with a mobster played by Al Pacino. The stress, the lies, and the blame. All of that came through in Depp's acting. It was soft, unsettling, and very human. Depp played George Jung in the 2001 movie Blow. Jung was a man who helped bring cocaine to America in large amounts in the 1980s. Jung worked for Pablo Escobar and made a lot of money, but then he lost everything. Depp met Jung in jail and learned a lot about him. He was interested in both how Jung lived and what he thought. Some of his lines were changed to sound more like the real man. One of the saddest parts of the movie is when Jung records a tape for his dad. Depp used Jung's real words. There was more than acting going on, it was an honor. Jung's story was crazy, exciting, and sad. When Depp was rich, he showed everything. When he lost his family, he showed the worst. After some time, Depp said that he loved Jung from the first time they met. People already knew Johnny Depp for playing weird and unusual roles, but in 2003 he did something that no one saw coming. He agreed to play the lead role in a Disney spy movie. But he wasn't just a pirate on the screen. It was complete chaos. He stumbled and slurred his words when he got to the first table read. He also moved like a rock star who hadn't slept in days. Everyone thought he was kidding. The people at Disney were so confused that they asked him if he was drunk. One of them thought he was ruining the whole movie. Depp wasn't kidding though. He had based his whole show on Keith Richards, the crazy guitarist for the Rolling Stones. Pirates from the 18th century were like rock stars to him, and Richards, he was the best example for today. Rebellious, hard to predict, and still standing. Depp even brought in some of the comic skunk Pepe Le Pew, which gave Jack Sparrow a strange charm and hope. He wouldn't tone it down. Disney could either go with his idea or find someone else to do it. It wasn't done to replace him. Some people didn't just like it, they were shocked. Roger Ebert said that it was unique in every way. One reviewer said it was a great example of how to act funny. This risky move paid off for Depp. He was up for his first Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and even a Screen Actors Guild Award. The weird guy from independent movies became the face of a worldwide sensation all of a sudden. Then 2006 came along. When Dead Man's Chest came out in cinemas, it broke everything in its way. It made $135.6 million in its first weekend in North America. That had never been done in a movie before. In just 8 days it made over $200 million, and in 45 days it made over $400 million. It made about $100 million in 2 days. It made more than $1 billion around the world. No one thought a pirate movie could do this, but Jack Sparrow made people want to see it. After a year, the third movie, At World's End, came out. It did better at the box office than any other movie ever. Over 4,300 in North America for a total of about 11,500 screens. It made almost $139.8 million in just 4 days. It made $153 million by the fifth day. Even though Spider-Man 3 and Shrek the Third came out at the same time, Depp's Pirate was the most popular movie at the theaters. It had made $963.4 million around the world by the time it left cinemas. Up until 2022, it was the best Memorial Day weekend ever. People still came to see Jack even after the later version slowed down. On Stranger Tides opened in 2011 with $90.1 million in the US, but it was a huge hit all over the world. Around the world it made $256.3 million in just one weekend. At that time it was the biggest opening in the world. It made $1 billion around the world very quickly, making it the fastest Disney movie ever to do that. Dead Men Tell No Tales made $794 million around the world and $62 million in the United States in 2017. There is still a clear sign, though it is not as big as before. There was more to Jack Sparrow than just the movies. After that, things began to go wrong. By 2010, the person who ran the Pirate started to go in a different direction. Tracy Jacobs, his agent, said it was like seeing two different people. People who used to work at the bottom became known for being late. Late a lot. On set, people would wait for hours. There were times when whole shooting days were lost. They put a crew member outside of Depp's house in Australia to see if he was awake while they were making Dead Men Tell No Tales. The message got out when he finally woke up. The bird has come down. It wasn't just being lazy, it got worse for him to drink and use drugs. He would be late, lost, or not show up at all. Whole film shoots became tense and hard to plan. Behind the scenes, the producers fought over who should talk to him. Even Disney had to come up with ways to keep things quiet to handle all the noise. His bad habits at home were making things difficult at work. After that, he fell in love with Amber Heard. In 2009, they met on a movie set. Johnny Depp was already a famous actor. Amber Heard was young, driven, and making progress. They were making the movie The Rum Diary. Depp played Paul Kemp and Heard was cast as Shano. They hit it off right away. She once said that working with Depp was cruel but also exciting. Both were seeing someone at the time. Heard was seeing Vanessa Paradis and Depp was seeing Tassia Van Ree. But by 2012 they were no longer together. Depp and Heard started dating. At first everyone thought they were a beautiful new couple. Things were not at all great, though, despite the news stories and red carpets. Soon their love story would turn into one of the ugliest and most publicized in the history of celebrities. They got married on February 3, 2015 in a small ceremony at their home in Los Angeles. Then they had a big party on Depp's private island in the Bahamas, but the marriage didn't last. After only 15 months, in May 2016, Heard asked for a divorce and a protection order. She said Depp had abused her verbally, physically, and emotionally over and over again. There were at least 3 events listed in court papers. Like the one where she said he hit her and broke things in their house. Depp was told to stay away by a judge. Pictures of Heard's face, which was hurt and swollen, were all over the news. Depp refuted all of it. His lawyers said she was lying to get money. It turned into public war, the kind where no one gets away clean. Then there was the opinion piece. Heard wrote something for the Washington Post in December 2018. Even though she didn't say Depp's name, everyone knew who she meant. She said that she had been abused at home. Depp lost his job right away, especially as Captain Jack Sparrow. He sued her for $50 million in March 2019 and said she told lies about him that hurt his image. Heard shot back. She said that she had also lost her job and started getting hate mail. The court case went crazy. Pictures, notes, and witnesses. Everything came out. On both sides, abuse was blamed on the other. Everyone looked, trying to figure out who was telling the truth. A lot of people didn't get it at all. Australia was the site of one of the worst times. The year was March 2015. Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales was being filmed at the time. They were in a rented house when they got into a fight. A piece of Depp's finger was cut off. He said that someone threw a booze bottle at him. He cut his right middle finger on the broken bottle. There was blood everywhere. After some time, the thumb was found on the kitchen floor. Our doctor said Depp had surgery, making things stopped. The people working for Heard said Depp hurt himself. Picture were there. Terrible. So shocking. That wound became a sign of how bad things were between them. No one could turn their eyes away. In January 2017, they were no longer married. Depp agreed to give $7 million to Heard. She said she gave everything to charity. In the end, it turned out that she didn't give all of the money to pay for everything. Elon Musk was behind some of it. The story didn't stop even though they signed a non-disclosure deal. Depp said she was lying. Heard said she was telling the truth. In a statement together, they said that their relationship was crazy and intense but based on love. It didn't make anyone believe it. It was bad for their names, and the lawsuits kept going on. A new witness then came forward. The people who worked at the Eastern Columbia building where Depp and Heard lived said Musk came by late at night. A housekeeper said Heard often called around 11 p.m. to let Musk in. The next morning he was seen leaving. This happened while she was married to Depp. Surveillance video caught them close together in the elevator. The building staff said that Heard and Musk's relationship did not begin after the split, even though Heard and Musk said it did. There was a sense of deception. It helped Depp a lot during the hearing. Texts that only Depp could see were read in court. They showed how angry he was. He called Musk a mollusk and sent his agency mean texts. He wrote that he wanted to cut Musk up and that Heard's bad luck would catch up with her. The words were foul and gross. He said he wasn't proud of them, but they showed a man who was at the edge of his seat and watched his life fall apart in front of everyone. Then Heard's agent told them something else. It was 2017 when she broke up with Musk. She texted the agent and said she had never loved him. She was only there to fill the time. She said she needed some time to get over the death. That Musk was an eye-catcher. These texts broke down the idea that they were really dating. It seemed like a bounce. And everyone began to doubt everything. Her reasons, her choices, and the truth about her. Then the trail of money came. Heard had said she would give all of her divorce money to charity. But records showed that Elon Musk gave the ACLU $500,000 in her name. Depp sent another piece. Out of the $3.5 million that was promised, only $1.3 million was ever sent. Musk had even emailed the ACLU to let them know he was going to help her keep her promise. It took place while the court case was going on. It looked planned, like she was trying to keep up a good image. But the truth broke down that carefully crafted story. In 2023, Walter Isaacson's account of finally showed how bad that relationship really was. Musk said it was the worst relationship he had ever been in. His brother Kimball said that Heard was a terrible thing. His family didn't like her. Isaacson called it a dark vortex. Musk said it hurt him emotionally and would never go away. But there were also passionate times. Musk's favorite video game character is Mercy, and Heard once spent 2 months making an outfit for her. It was love gone wrong. Musk later said, "I'm a fool most of the time, but especially when I'm in love." Heard that she loved him still. She also said that Elon loves fire, even though it burns him sometimes. One of the best paid stars in Hollywood history was Johnny Depp. After Pirates of the Caribbean became a huge hit in 2003, he became famous all over the world. He got $20 million up front for each movie plus bonuses at the end. $40 million for each Pirates movie, and even $55 million from Alice in Wonderland, which made over $1 billion around the world. It looks like he has enough money to live a good life. The world was shocked when he sued in October 2017. He told them that over the course of almost 20 years they had wasted $650 million in his business. He went after a business called the Management Group. Depp said they didn't pay his taxes, borrowed money without telling him, and carelessly spent his money on things like security that were too expensive. For 16 years they took $28 million in fees, which is about 5% of his income. Without a signed contract. He said that they hid how bad things were, and he was in a lot of debt by the time he found out. It took months for the case to end. It was finally over in July 2018, a few weeks before it was set to go to court. There was a hearing that could have made everything public. Things didn't end there, though. They sued him in April 2018 after being his security for a long time. Joe Areola and Miguel Sanchez were their names. They said they weren't paid right after working for him as a private security guard in 2016. As needed by law, they weren't given food breaks, extra time off or rest periods. It wasn't just about the money though. They talked about a hectic place of work. They said they had to watch Depp, keep him away from people, and even drive him around while he was reportedly drunk. There were dangerous settings for them to be in, like being around illegal drugs in cars. They said they were more than just guards. They took care of things, drove people around and fixed problems. Then there was another big blow. An event manager named Greg "Rocky" Brooks sued in July 2018 for something that happened the year before. The event took place on the set of Depp's movie City of Lies. It was time to stop shooting one night at 10 p.m. But Depp wanted to keep going. When it got to 11 p.m., the cops told Brooks and his team that they had to end the case. Someone told Brooks to give that message straight to Depp when he sent it on. That's when everything went off. Brooks said Depp smelled like being drunk. He began to yell, "Who the fuck are you? You can't tell me what to do." Depp then allegedly punched him twice in the ribs and yelled, "I'll give you $100,000 to punch me in the face right now." The movie's release was pushed back. The case got a lot of attention. Depp's image was already hurt, and it got worse. Brooks said that Depp's protectors had to physically stop him. Everyone on board saw it. The event made the production look bad, pushed back the movie's release date, and added to Depp's growing list of problems. The court case went on and on. It still wasn't solved by 2022, but Depp had just won a well-known defamation case against Amber Heard, his ex-wife. And having another public trial at the wrong time could have ruined everything he was working to fix. There was a quiet settlement in the City of Lies case just days before it was set to go to court. There was no fight in public court, no new news, just quiet. The deal's specifics were never made public, but Depp wasn't done shocking people. He came back in October 2024, but not in a movie. He came back in the art world. He opened a one-man show called A Bunch of Stuff in the Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan, which has one of the best art scenes in the world. It had more than 70 original paintings, some of which he had made many years before. The art was real, personal and strange. A few showed strong feelings. Even though some of them looked like bright dreams, they all told the story of a man who had been through a lot and poured it all out on canvas. In the first week, more than 10,000 people came. Many people thought Depp's art was just another hobby for famous people, but reviewers were shocked. They saw real skill, there was pain, depth and accuracy that they saw. Stars from the art and movie worlds came to the opening night. Depp wasn't just trying to come back, that much was clear. He wasn't just trying to fix his appearance, he was also trying to fix who he was. Not as a faded star, but as an artist who could finally tell the story he wanted to tell.